r/NoSleep. Posted by u/dark killer diamond. I recently moved to a new town. You're not allowed outside after 9 p.m. Hello there, my name is Jason and right now I don't know what to do. See, I recently graduated from high school. I didn't feel like going to college and instead found a job a town over. After finding a home, I packed up my stuff and said goodbye to my parents and left. For the sake of the story, I'm not gonna tell you the name of the town, but when I got here I saw people watching me nervously as I pulled up to my house. When I got out and started unpacking, I didn't notice a man was sneaking up behind until I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned around and saw a guy standing there. He looked to be the same size as me, didn't seem to be much older than me, and he was wearing a red hat. He smiled and said, "Sorry if I scared you, my name's Peter. The first was coming over to greet you." I smiled and, "Well, my name's Jason. I just recently got a job in this town." Afterwards he helped me with unpacking my stuff. When we finished he gave me this serious look and said, "I almost forgot to tell you, this town has a rule: nobody is allowed out once 9 p.m. hits. You have to stay inside until 6 a.m. Got it?" I looked at him puzzled. "Why, what happens?" He seriously face changed to nervous. "Oh, nothing, just surf you." Afterwards he gave me his number and told me if I needed anything just call, and then he left. I was still wondering why there was a curfew for everyone but ignored it, and when I went back outside, I heard someone trying to get my attention. I looked over at my neighbor's house and saw this beautiful lady. She had brown hair and looked to be around the same age as me. She walked up to me. "You must be my new neighbor. My name's Emily," and held out her hand. I quickly shook it. "Hi, my name's Jason." She looked over and back and asked me if anyone told me the curfew. I quickly said yes. "Good, I don't want anything happening to someone as good looking as you," I replied with thanks. "But why is there a curfew for everyone here?" Her face changed to a nervous one. "The mayor just though it would be good if everyone had a curfew after what happens past 9 p.m. "Wait, what happened?" She had an even more nervous face. I said too much and then walked back into her house. I was even more confused. "What happens past 9? I brushed it off and went back into my house. Around 8:30 p.m. I finished dinner and I decided to go to bed until I noticed it was almost 9 p.m. and remembered what I was told. I decided to listen and not go out until I noticed a red hat. "Peter must have left it here by mistake," I said to myself. I called Peter. After a while he picked up. "Hello," I heard. "Hey Peter, it's me, Jason. Just calling to let you know you left your red hat here. Just wanting to know if you wanted me to bring it back." He replied with a shocked voice, "No, I'll come over tomorrow and get it. Please don't go outside. You might not make it back in time for curfew." I was wondering why he seemed so scared on the other end. "Oh come on, what's the worst that could happen?" And what he said scared me. "You could die if you're out past 9. Just stay home." I just stood there frozen, and before I could say anything he hung up. I was going to die. I was confused, so I went over to my neighbor's house and knocked on her door. I heard scattering on the other side, then the door opened. "Jason, what are you doing outside? You need to get back inside. It's not safe." I replied with, "What's going on in this town? I was just told that I would do being out past 9. She pulled me in her house and slammed the door. I should have told you there's something out there that will kill anything it sees. It only comes out at 9 p.m. I laughed. "So wait, you're telling me you guys believe in some creature that comes out and hunts anyone it finds? What are we talking about, a werewolf?" But I could see she had a serious face. But before I could say anything he heard someone banging on the door. "Let me in." I ran over to the door, but Emily grabbed me. "Don't open it." I shrugged her arm off and looked out her window and saw a guy standing out there with a nervous face. "Please, I locked myself out of my house and none else will let me in." I was gonna go over and open the door until I saw him turn around and his face went pale. I looked over and saw this thing walking over it, and when I got a good look I froze. This thing looked to be at least 7 feet tall and was very white. It had no hair or a nose, not even any ears. It had shadow eyes and its smile was large. It revealed its sharp teeth and then stretched out his arms, which were hanging down to its legs, revealing large sharp nails. Grabbing the man, it pulled him closer and shoved his tongue in his throat. I wanted to scream but I couldn't, and when it pulled its tongue out of him I saw it had the guy's heart. I saw blood pouring out of the guy's mouth, eating him until there was not a stain of the man left. Afterwards it looked over at me. I closed the blinds and walked backwards slowly, and then Emily told me to slowly walk upstairs. It started banging on the door trying to get in. After we got upstairs to her room she looked the door, telling me we should be safe. Until we heard her door break open. My heart stopped. We heard the thing downstairs running around breaking stuff trying to find us. When we heard it coming up the stairs she grabbed me and put me in her closet and told me to stay quiet. I just listened to her. Then she grabbed her bat and closed the closet door. The thing started banging on her door until I heard it break it open. I peeked out. She swung at it but it grabbed then sliced her throat open with its sharp claws. She fell on the floor holding her throat, trying to crawl away from it. But it grabbed her leg and dragged her away. I just stayed there not moving. I couldn't believe what I witnessed. I blamed myself for Emily's death. If I had just stayed at my house and followed the rules she would be alive. I stayed there until morning, then I finally left her closet. I saw the trail of blood leading out of her house and saw the damage the creature left to her house. Afterwards I called the police. I told the police everything they just told me. You hear me now? This was a burglary because what happens in this town stays in this town. Afterwards they let me go home. I don't know if I should leave this town or what. The next story of this video. Posted by u/dark killer diamond. There's something wrong with the lady in the painting. Hello there, my name is Tony. This story I'm going to tell you happened when I was 14. I was coming home from school and when I went to my room I noticed something on my wall. It was a painting of a woman next to a man and a child that looked to be 6. I went to ask my mom what it was doing in my room and she said she painted it and thought it would make my room look better. I argued with her but she insisted. That night when I was sleeping I had a weird dream where a woman was crying and holding a bloody knife. I woke up sweating and when I looked around I noticed something funny. The painting changed. The man was missing and it was just the woman and the kid. That morning I told my mother but she didn't believe me. At school I didn't tell my friends because I didn't think they would believe me. When I got home I looked at the painting again. This time the boy was crying. The woman's smile was even bigger. I was terrified. That night I kept an eye on the painting but after a while I grew tired and fell unconscious. I had the same exact dream of the woman with a knife but this time she was laughing and covered in blood. When I woke up I looked over at the painting. I noticed the boy was gone. After that I put the painting in the attic and didn't tell my mother why and everything went back to normal. I'm now 28 and married. I moved out and far away and forgot all about the painting until I got a call telling me my mother died from natural causes. I went back to the house. I haven't been there for years ever since I moved and when I went back inside a chill went down my spine. I then remembered the painting and went to check the attic. It wasn't there. I went to my mom's room and saw it on the wall and the lady had disappeared. When I pulled the painting off the wall a paper fell from behind it. I picked it up and it read, "I am free." I was confused and threw the paper out. I then had a vision of that lady in my dream saying, "Your wife is next." I quickly pulled my phone out and called my wife. "Hello Tony, is everything alright?" She sounded alright. "Yeah, just checking," and I heard someone talking in the background. "Who's there?" My wife replied with, "Oh, just someone who says she's an old friend of yours." I was confused. "Can you put her on?" She did, and when I heard her voice I froze. It was the lady from my dreams. "Hello Tony, I killed your mother. Your wife is next." I just stood there frozen as I heard my wife screaming and then the phone disconnected. I quickly got in my car and rushed back home. When I got home I saw cops' cars outside. They told me my neighbors have complained that they heard screaming from my house and when they got here they saw it was trashed. I asked about my wife and they said she wasn't there. I rushed inside and all my stuff was trashed. Then I noticed one thing wasn't a painting I never saw hanging there. When I got closer I noticed it was the painting. The only thing is that the lady was different. It looked like my wife. Next to her was my mom and they had creepy smiles. Then I heard a voice whisper in my ear, "You're next." Now every night I lay there waiting for her to return.